Hey, excuse me, everybody. I'm gonna get your attention. We're going to be starting in just a few minutes, but I just want to introduce myself first and give you some of the lay of the land here about what we're doing. First of all, welcome everyone. My name is Michael Newmark. I'm the administrative law judge for the public prosecution, and we're here to take public comments today on the transmission line proposal from American Transmission Company. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. I don't have to explain it to you. So we're here to take public comments. I wanted to just let you know before we get started, if you do wish to speak today, you want to fill out one of these forms. They're located at the back. Put your name and address, and then check the speak now box. Yes, I would like to speak. If you do that, I'll get the form. They'll bring it up to me, and I'll try to announce the names one at a time in the order I got them. Process is pretty simple. Just come up to the front, have a seat, I'll swear you in, get your name, and give us your comment. That's basically the whole thing, but the important thing is to fill out the slip first. If you just want to file a written comment, you can do so on this page, and you can add some pages to the back, or you can comment online. And the way to do that is to follow this link, use the QR code for your phone, or just go on our website, or you can mail it to us. Now, comments are due pretty soon, so you might not, mail might not work at this point. We might not get it in time. So I'd say write it out. If you want to write it out, just write it out today, or go right to our website and fill it out online. All right, so it's just about time to start. We do have some people joining us through Zoom. Take comments from the public in person here in the room, and also people who are on Zoom, kind of tag teaming that. So you'll see me kind of paying attention a little bit to the screen. I don't mean to be disrespectful to the room, but I'm just trying to juggle a number of things all at once. So does everybody settle in? Are we where we want to be and we're comfortable? In case people coming in, I'll maybe give a couple minutes. The
parking lot is getting filled up, so they have to park.
Oh boy. Hey, why are they coming so late? You guys are here early. You're on time. Right. If only that was the case. Oh yeah. We're all
Yes.
oh yeah.
I travel with lots of just in case, right? Always prepared. Wasn't been a year ago. No. Yes.
All right, so let's get started then. We'll start off the record. Just going to give you guys a little bit of introduction about what we're doing here, and you know why we're here, but just a little bit of what we're doing here and how it works. Like I mentioned again before, my name is Michael Newmark, administrative law judge for the Public Service Commission. So I run the procedures in this case, the process of creating the record in this case that the commissioners will use to make a decision. So the Public Service Commission is an agency run by 3 commissioners, and they just make the decisions on the issues in all of these cases. So we present to them all the documentation, and only that documentation is what they're allowed to use to make their decision. So that's my job. I'm the gatekeeper of the record. So on Tuesday, we heard from the parties and commission staff about this case. That's the party hearing session where we had the witnesses take the stand. They were subject to cross-examination, and we created a transcript in that case. So all the documents we received that day and the transcript, that'll go to the commissioners. They'll read all that information in order to make a decision on the case. But we're also taking public comment. And like, there's comments you can file on our online. We have many, many comments. Well, that's actually another case. We have even more in another case. We have comments in this case, and we have comments already filed on our website. We also are collecting comments here today. So it's comments you can speak today or give to us in writing. Or like I said, you could still add some time to file on a comment online. So all those comments will be part of the record, and the commissioners will read those before they make their decision. When the commissioners are ready to decide, they'll meet in open meeting and they vote on the issues. Is this project needed? Where should it go? Those are the, basically the two big issues in this case. So the biggest ground rule here today is that we're transcribing what you say. So if you could please speak slowly and clearly, because our transcriptionist here is going to type in while you speak. So do a better job than me, slow and clear, and we can collect all the information you want the commissioners to know. Also, please be quiet and respectful when someone's speaking, because we want to hear what they're saying. If we miss something, then the commissioners will own that part of the comment. So everyone should get a chance to speak, and we hope we can get everybody in. We're going to start now, and we'll go until everyone's done. And we're going to start again at 6 and take new people. One of the kind of quirky process in our agency, well, just kind of statewide system here, is that if you've participated as a party, we can't have you speaking today. You've already had your chance as a party, and that there's different rules that apply. You saw the party hearing session was a lot more formal, like a trial sort of. So those are the rules that parties follow. Here, we just want your opinion. Feel free to come up and give us your opinion. So if you're a member of N for N and you were a witness in the case and testified on Tuesday, you can't speak today. But if you're a member and did not testify, I'll let you speak on your own personal behalf, but not on behalf of the organization. So give us your individual personal opinion. And I think that's the only permutation of that I can remember. So just don't identify yourself as N for N, as long as you haven't already testified as a party in the case, as a witness. Okay. Did you have a question? Yeah. Yes, so everything stays on the ERF system. How it works is that at the time that the notice of hearing was sent out, all the comments received after that notice of hearing become part of the record. So they were offered as in lieu of a comment today is how it works. So if you filed a written comment, it's on ERF and it'll be put into the record and the commissioners will see it. So technically you don't need to speak today if you've already filed a comment. Yeah. We will read it. Commissioners will read the transcript and they'll also read the comments. So if someone hasn't filed a comment yet, let's give them a chance first, at least, to make their comment before you make a second comment. Really don't like to get second comments, but it's okay. I'm not going to check today if you've already made a comment, but so all those comments between the time of the notice of hearing being issued and now, but when the comment deadline's over, those will all go into the record. So, and let's say I can tell you, comments are due no later than Monday. So up until next Monday, you can file a comment. And so there was a time frame between June 21st and next Monday. All those comments will be part of the record. Nothing prior. Those were comments for the environmental assessment. So if you only filed before June 21st, before the notice went out, come up and comment again. That's okay. Okay. Or you can just fill it out online. Okay, so I think that's all we need to review. Any questions before we get started? Remember, slow and clear. Okay, we're good. All right, so I'm gonna start calling off the names. We'll have sorry about that. Janie Castell will start us off. So have a seat here, ma'am, and she'll be the guinea pig. You'll get to see how it's done.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna,
Janine.
I'm sorry. So just so you know, everybody, I'm gonna mess up everyone's name. I do it to everybody. And I'm also, I have a little trouble with seeing the names, so I apologize. But I'll do my best. First, I'm gonna swear you in.
Oh.
So raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, so give us your name and your comment.
Okay. My name is Janine Castell.
I'm just gonna interrupt you a second. Can everybody hear her?
Can you up higher?
Back up.
This is right.
Okay,
That's all right.
Did your way?
Yeah.
Here, I can move it.
okay. My name is Janine Castell. I've been a farmer in the town of Lyndon for 52 years. And today I would like to present my thoughts on the power lines. In late January 2024, we received a flyer informing us ATC, in conjunction with Plymouth Utilities, had decided that they were going to construct a high voltage power line over a large portion of our land. And they would also be building these 138,000 kilowatt power lines within feet of our sons, Chris Castell, wife Jennifer, and their 2 sons' home. This line would proceed westward down County Trunk N and also be built within feet of the next 3 homes, meaning that the homes would be in the right-of-way, requiring clear cutting of all trees, many of these trees over 100 years old. These properties were all multi-generational properties and have been in the same families for over 75 years. The thing that first caught us off guard was that ATC folks were telling us, not asking us about using our property to complete their venture of a for-profit enterprise with Plymouth Utilities. Everyone involved was involved to make a profit, all except the homeowners and landowners on the route. After receiving these flyers in the mail, we called ATC's representative, John Calloway, to find out more about this project. We asked him when the public hearings were going to be, and he simply scoffed at the idea and said that ATC had no plans for public hearings, that they did not want to interact with the public, had no desire to hear from the landowners or anyone else who was going to be affected by this project. He then stated to us that they, ATC, had submitted their plan to the Public Service Commission and had no plan to alter it in any way, shape, or form. He stated that the only one who could get them to change their plan was the PSC, and stated that in his own words, the PSC usually just rubber stamped whatever they submitted. We had asked them about the errors, which were intentionally or otherwise, and he stated that they were right and we were wrong. We stated to him that we had done actual measurements and that their measurements were not correct, and they probably had not physically done the measurements at all. He then stated that he had not been out to see the route, but was relying on ATC staff workers. We later read in filings by ATC or the Public Service Commission that no land was in farmland preservation on the route. All of our farmland is in this program, and we have been since 1979. More errors or misinformation keep piling up to make you wonder if they are intentional errors or due to lack of due diligence and lack of professional work standards. The rules don't seem to be applied as intended, but are manipulated to suit the needs and desires of ATC to meet their goals without regard to the safety and the effects this project will have on the residents' daily lives forever. These corridors are established for eternity. We also inquired with John Callaway regarding the existing pipeline corridor that runs directly under the 138 kilowatt line, which is the line that they are planning to tap into to supply the power for their new proposed transmission lines. As further discussions took place, we asked John Callaway why they were not utilizing the pipeline corridor, which comes directly under the power lines they want to tap into. He stated that the DNR owned this small parcel of land on the pipeline right-of-way, and that the DNR was too difficult to work with, and they could not use eminent domain against the DNR to acquire their permission. We then asked them if he had contacted the DNR, which he stated he had not, nor had ATC staff communicated with the DNR. At this time, we contacted the DNR and had a very pleasant and productive conversation with them. The DNR staff stated to us that they had not been contacted by anyone in this project, but when possible, they always tried to cooperate and be a good neighbor. They felt in this case that they would have no objections to accommodating ATC and their project. They felt this present corridor looked like the logical route to follow. To the best of my knowledge, to this day, no one involved with the planning of this project has contacted the DNR or their staff. But we have to remember, just like a third grade child on the playground, the ATC staff had made their plans and were not going to be persuaded by facts or even by the inhumane treatment of the landowners they were imposing upon. John Callaway told us that once the PSC had given them a go-ahead, they would simply use eminent domain ever impact the lives of residents in our community. When I explained that one of the neighbors had MS, confined to a wheelchair and limited to sleeping in a downstairs bedroom closest to the wires, he expressed no concern for her health. He stated that she and we could sit in her wheelchair in the right-of-way and they would build over the top of our heads. Nice guy, huh? We have also talked to the neighbors about using the pipeline corridor from the Onion River up to County Trunk N, and they all felt that this was the best route to follow if the transmission lines had to be built. Using the existing corridor would satisfy many of the neighbors whose lives otherwise will be shattered. We didn't realize the impact this project was having on our 8-year-old grandson, who dreams of becoming a farmer someday. He said he is planning to sell his prized Pokemon collection and donate the money to N for N. In a small way, he is trying to help protect his farming future. I'm sorry. ATC and Plymouth Utilities were not there for the last 70+ years as we sacrifice and work to maintain and build a sustainable farmstead. They don't have the decency or the common human respect to even ask what we can do together, but rather they think it is their right to dictate to multi-generational families who have spent their lives preserving the next generation, for the next generation, the land, the opportunity, and the ability to carry on a farming tradition that is centuries old. Respectfully submitted, Janine Castell.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll call our next witness is Carol Jean Schultz. Carol Jean, there we are. Z at the end, yes.
I do need to make a disclaimer. He called me Carol Jean. That is my legal name. Everyone here knows me as Jean. So we'll proceed to call me Jean.
I'm going to swear you in. Raise your right hand if you swear or affirm to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. All right, give us your name and comment.
Carol Jean Schultz. And I would like to read to you a very personal testimony. I don't have any type of degree that makes me an expert on Nichols Creek. I do, however, have eyes and ears that tell me that this is a pristine area that should not be disturbed by power lines. I've spent the last 30 years hunting and hiking Nichols Creek, and I can tell you a great deal about the property. On the day my grandson's grandfather passed away, the boys and I spent the day there. We walked through the prairie, crossed the bridge, where we stopped to watch for brown trout. We explored the duck pond and did see mallards. We caught release and waded in the icy water. Down to explore the cedars. We followed the creek and walked along. Sat there a while and just listened to nature, telling each other what we were hearing. We hiked back to the artesian spring, where the water comes out of the ground so clear and cold you can drink it. There's a huge downed tree at the head of the creek where we sat, talked, laughed, and cried. I can't imagine having spent this day, with the crackle and whine of overhead power lines interrupting our peace and tranquility, interrupting the serenity we were seeking. I have firsthand experience with those smacks, crackles, and shocks. And yes, I did say shocks. I already have a north and south power line running through our farm. We have put a 2-man metal tower deer stand under those lines to watch the clear cut for the deer passing through. The tower stand is not usable. Every time someone touches it, they are shocked. In damp conditions, the noise is louder and the shocks are harder. I ask you, please visit Nichols Creek, study it, kick over a rock, dig in the mud, walk in the creek, and you will understand how special and fragile this ecosystem is. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's go off the record for a second. Can people hear okay in the back? It's all right, because I can set up a microphone. This will take a minute or two. Okay, I think it's all right. All right. Also, there's a few chairs that are empty in the front. If you guys want to come in and fill those in, and a couple in the middle, feel free to take a seat here. Okay, so we do have about 5 or 6 comments here. We'll do one more comment in the room, and then we have a few people listening on Zoom. I'm just going to poll them and see if they'd like to comment, but we'll take, for now, we'll just take Kathleen Pierce. There you go. Okay, great, thanks.
Can I stand?
No, please sit. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
My name is Kathleen Pierce, and I live on a farm at W6580 County Road B in Cascade, Wisconsin. I'm a registered nurse and own and operate a gardening and landscaping business. My family, my Pierce family, has been involved with farming for 12 generations. There are many reasons for my concern as proposed by the Plymouth Reliability Project, specifically health, well-being, and safety. Electrical magnetic frequency, that is EMF, is emitted from large power sources such as high voltage power lines. The high voltage power lines, as proposed, come close or pass over many farms and family homes, exposing them to dangerous levels of EMFs. As a health professional and wellness advocate, minimizing exposure to harmful radiation only makes sense. There's not enough research to rule out disease and cancer effects on humans or animals. Second area is endangered species and herbicides. The distinctive black and orange monarch butterfly has been on the endangered species list in Wisconsin since December of 2020. Our farm is a designated monarch way station registry. The milkweed plant is the only food of the monarch butterfly. We have cultivated and encouraged milkweed habitat for the migrating species in our restored prairies and pastures, which are on the preferred route. When we moved to our farm in 2011, we recognized the importance of pollinating insects and had planted a wide range of perennial flowers throughout our farm. I have further concerns about the damage or destruction of the insects from the chemicals that will be used to kill plant life and trees under the power lines. When pollinators are affected, the entire food chain has a negative ripple effect. The next area is time frame and lack of transparency. There has been a very short time frame and lack of contact with many landowners along the 2 proposed routes. I'm requesting additional time and further examination of alternative routes instead of affecting 49 homes plus rural families and farms along the preferred route and 41 homes along the alternate route. I and many others on the ATC preferred and alternate routes believe there are other paths that are less impactful for people and the environment. I would like to suggest a route that uses the existing transmission lines, the corridors, and also parallels Highway A through the Kettle Moraine State Forest. There are large swaths of trees along Highway A that were knocked down in the tornado of 2018. There's also been extensive logging and removal of dead ash trees killed by the emerald ash borer. Therefore, this section of forest is ecologically degraded with the increased sunlight from the canopy, the tree canopy loss, and the soil disturbance from the logging equipment, allowing non-native invasives like honeysuckle and buckthorn to invade. It is not a high-quality habitat. If the transmission lines were to follow this route, the control of invasive brush species beneath the lines could prevent further spread through the forest. I ask for reconsideration. With respect, Kathleen Pierce.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we're gonna move on. Checking in with some people on Zoom here. And just gonna be, we can go off the record. Just gonna be asking people here who are joining us. So we have Ben Lauren. If you want to make a comment today, let's unmute you, and if you could turn on your video.
Can you see me?
Yes, I see you there.
I do not have a comment. I'm just here on behalf of ATC.
Yeah, okay, I do recognize your name now. Yes, okay. How about E. Beeman? E Beeman. Are you commenting?
Your Honor, I'm also ATC staff,
ATC
just
staff.
listening to
Make sure.
comments. Mhm.
Kyle?
Good afternoon. I do not have any comments.
Okay, all right, and then Kaya is with the commission. So, okay, great. So Zoom is just listening in, so we'll continue on with the people in the room here. Adam Redlich. I got that right. Okay. Sir, with your right hand, you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. All right. Give us your name and comment, please.
My name is Adam Rudlick. I live at N 4317 Kettleview Road, Plymouth. I believe there's been a complete lack of transparency on this entire Plymouth reliability project from the early beginnings to the current state. Why was the substation separated from the ATC power line docket? Why has the information on the public docket been redacted? This should not happen on a public project. According to the Public Service Commission's website, the PSC considers the balances and diverse prospects and endeavors to protect the environment, public interest, and public health and welfare. Approving this project as proposed in this statement. Are you putting corporations' agendas over the landowners' rights, the people who ultimately pay for these projects? Placing high voltage power lines less than 60 feet from people's homes does not sound like protecting public interest or public's health. Several alternate routes have been proposed that impact far fewer homes and are shorter distance routes while still providing the same power outcome for this project. Yet you have rejected those alternates quickly and without just reasoning. Sounds like someone wants this project completed by certain deadlines. A&R Pipeline service of date December of 2025. That deadline is leading all efforts to quickly approve routes and plans that avoid extensive use of public lands and avoids co-locating existing utility lines in the highest extent possible. The proposed routes already crisscross important waterways such as the Nichols Creek and the Onion River. Utilizing the existing utility lines over those streams and following them on public lands to the furthest extent possible to avoid the new routes that severely impact new land is a better alternative. It will take more time for permits and more time to replace poles to be multi-use, but the cost of this is far less than the currently proposed project. It also kills two birds with one stone, fixing an aging structure at the same time as it providing new service. I was reading a letter from Adam Ingwall dated May 17, 2024 in regards to the environmental assessment and the lack of need for an environmental impact study. The wording in his letter that gets me is the preliminary determination indicates that no significant impacts on the human or natural environment are likely to occur as a result of the construction and operation of this project. Same words were found on the final letter dated June 4th of 2024. Significant to me includes power lines that would be 56 feet from my home to the center of the lines. Significant is taking fringe habitat from wildlife that doesn't need to be. Significant to me is routing lines strictly on private land. Significant to me are the impacts that will happen because of this project as proposed. Significant to me is taking more land for right-of-way when existing right-of-way could be more heavily utilized. This project should not be left to the corporations pushing agendas and deadlines. Someone who does not live on these routes should not make these final decisions as they have no firsthand knowledge of the environment, public, and economic features of this area. I have a home that is serene and peaceful. I want it to stay that way. I highly doubt any of the ATC or PSC people would want these power lines 56 feet from their home or running through their multi-generational farms like they're proposing on these routes. Although we understand infrastructure and power grids are vital in this country, strong-arming landowners will not produce the successful projects you are expecting and pushing. I understand the need for power, but I also understand it to be the commission's job to approve projects that have justified cost beyond the US dollar. Justifiable cost of environmental impacts, public interest impacts, public health, and welfare impacts. Please uphold your own mission and vision statements. There are far less impactful ways to provide the needed power than are currently proposed. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Can I grab that from you? And Susan Spouts. Supervisor. Have a seat. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Okay, give us your name and comment.
my name is Suzanne Spouts and I live in the town of Sheboygan. And I am a county board supervisor for the District 12 and I am speaking on behalf because I'm a concerned citizen of this county. So, and I've been hearing about this proposed project for quite some time now. And first off, I just want to give a shout out to the Neighbors for Neighbors group. I'm very impressed with the perseverance and the diligence and hard work that you guys put forth. It seems to me that this is the most effective way to put a stop to some of these big corporations and entities that kind of want to come in and run roughshod, over the landowners and the citizens. I've seen what results happen, to put a stop to wind turbines and sometimes solar panels. So thank you for all the work you're doing. So anyways, I am opposed to what the ATC and the PSC are proposing, for a number of different reasons, very similar to what everybody has already said. First off, it devalues people's property, as we've been hearing. There's multi-generation people that have lived in the area, multi-generational farms. People have lived in this area, owned property for decades. People value their property. They live here for specific reasons. This is a pristine area. This is very valuable. People live here because they want peace and quiet. They want health and safety, all those kinds of things. And there is evidence that it negatively affects people's health and animals' health. There's lots and lots of evidence with that. People's livelihood will be affected, for the farms that are in the area. That's going to negatively affect, their livelihood. And that's just wrong, especially when there are other viable options, as to other locations to put these power lines where they can do that instead of running over people's property, negatively affecting their property value, their livelihood, their health, all those kinds of things. And also, this is a beautiful area, pristine area, specifically with Nichols Creek and Onion River. It's, highlighted by the DNR as being very special and unique, so we just need to keep it that way, and cutting down all the trees in the area that will negatively affect the ecosystems and just the beauty and the functioning of the area. So, anyways, that is really all I needed to say. Thank you for letting me speak. So.
Absolutely. Thanks. So I just want to let people know we do off the record. I have 4 more appearance slips, so we're going to have 4 more people come and comment, unless there's more. So if you have any more appearance slips, get them to the staff in the back of the room, and they'll bring them up to me. But at this point, we just have the 4 left. We will reconvene at 6 p.m. to take new people. So if you're just getting inspired now, you can come back and make your comment at 6, but we will stay until everyone's done here. So we have 4 left right now. So, all right. So Daniel Schultz. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? No. And just give us your name and comment. You'll have to speak up a little because we don't have a microphone. I apologize.
I'm Daniel Schultz. Our family farm is on the north side of Penn. Opposite of what the proposed right of way is. Just speaking from personal experience on our farm already has power line running through the north end of it. And it also has gas line running diagonal through it. So we're restricted on our use of that property already in multiple ways. The power line on the north end, they cut down whatever trees they feel are in the way. Spray pest or herbicides to control whatever species of plants they don't want under there. We continue to be taxed on that property for now. My son's involved. This will be our 4th generation on that farm. We keep paying and paying, and we're limited on it. Actually, I believe it's taxed as at a premium as recreational land because it runs through the woods. But there's no trees there. There's no plant, not much for vegetation. You really don't get any benefit of hunting under there. There's no animals there. And I just feel that these power lines, they really limit your use. Many of the other people already made points of the health concerns. Like just thinking of all the generations that we've been dealing with it already, they think of all the future generations that also will be dealing with this forever once it's in place.
Yeah, thanks very much. Okay, next up, Barbara Ann Jocelyn.
I know.
They got wheels, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm worrying about them.
Oh, I believe it. I don't want to know. All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, and give us your name and comment, please.
I'm Barbara Jocelyn. I live at W6559 County Road V in Cascade, at the top of that tall roller coaster hill on V. I love and appreciate all the info that has been shared here and all the stats and everything in the heart. I'm going to take you on another ride story going back to the 1800s. I married Ron in 1987 as his second wife, and I have been part of that hill since the early and the mid-80s. The Jocelyn family founded our 80-acre property in the late 1800s, 2 40-acre parcels on our roller coaster hill, valley, and hill to the west. No roads arriving, they did some clearing over the years, 6 fields, 14 acres of woods, and a new orchard. They built their new log cabin in the orchard for 3 generations until 1910. That older 2-story house with a fieldstone foundation is still my home now. By 1905, they built the barn, silo, granary, and other structures, all with fieldstone foundations. From the beginning, they also befriended and traded with the many local Indian tribes. The land was cleared by horses with stone bolts. We just cleared out our granary last year before it collapsed. And we took the old stone bolt out of there that was pulled by horses. Each field and the cowling from the barn was fenced with 3 to 5 foot high stone fences. The cows traveled that lane, taking them along fields, through woods, to more fields now split by the stone fences. In 1938, more land was split and lost to the new North Avenue. Then the county made a huge tunnel underneath North Avenue, and the cows walked through that tunnel twice daily to the fields on the other side up in a hill to the west. Today, our deer and wildlife enjoy it. V was built in the early 1900s. Ron's grandfather was given a deed promising him and his future generations to maintain that spring that was underneath. It fed a small stream in our valley to the south. 10 to 15 years ago, V was widened again. We lost more land, our spring was capped, and our old paper ignored. We are on the end of a power line transformers on the east end, on the east edge of our mini woods next to our home. Plymouth Utilities box, but we have We Energies. Being the end of the line for Plymouth, we encountered several power hiccups over the years. Backlashes damaging our electro box, TV, microwave, and other appliances. We also have natural gas lines running through our fields to the south that we did sell in recent years to the Schultz family. Now, these huge power lines could fly overhead. I am a firm believer that they are a health risk. What happens to our huge, beautiful old roadside trees? Up to possibly 125, 150 foot tall, and they're way over 100 years old. Please check out their beauty. If you leave Plymouth on 67 2E, traveling south, before you go down the valley, look to the southwest. On that highest ridge that you can see, those huge pines, that's the J Farm. What about the high winds, storms, and auto accidents? We have our own weather on this roller coaster hill. You can ask any of the neighbors. In 2017, we had a destructive tornado travel V to the east, then cascade, leaving massive tree destruction for us and others. Some people are still cleaning up from that. Widening V, it has become a dangerous racetrack for cars, motorcycles, plus joyriding. Some speed by so fast, I can't tell the make or the type, just color barely looking through the window. Before leaving my driveway, I sit patiently, driver window open, looking to the west hill and counting to 10 because of a blind spot. Along with the speeding, we are a route for large dump trucks, some semis, spring, fall, and they move. Rarely does anyone honor our 45-mile-per-hour speed limit for our hidden driveways. In the 1990s, We had 35 acres in Forb and Grasses government program for 10 years. We were pretty. People drove by slowly, stopped, and walked the fields with our permission. Excuse me. They enjoyed nature's beauty of flowers and wildlife. We used to have turkeys and pheasants come across and just look around all over the place. Today's traffic, they wouldn't be safe. My point to all this history, I've been part of this hill since the 80s, calling it God's country and my own little piece of heaven. How much more does the J Farm, excuse me, and its adjoining neighbors' lands have to endure for modernization and progress? I care about all my neighbors, friends around the J Farm, along with others linked to this possible future travesty in our township at Lyndon. We are in this together. We are better together. Our township area, Nichols Creek, Onion River, the vegetation, wildlife, birds, farm animals, and our human health, I feel, are at serious risk. Many could be impacted on their property values for something they had no choices on the outcome. I know I'm old school, and I feel it's also important to remember and honor our predecessors by fighting deep pockets and doing what's right for our beloved township of Lyndon. Thank you for listening, reading, and allowing me to rant a bit. Prayers flowing for God to walk us through this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is James Jetzer. I couldn't hear it.
It's pronounced Yetzer.
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 Tricked me again. All right, great, thanks.
And I have to follow that.
Hey. You never know what you're gonna get here. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, give us your name and comment.
My name is James Yetzer. I live at N3771 West Corner Road A in Cascade. And I am opposed to the routes presented by the ATC for the following reasons. The preferred route would infringe on 49 households and numerous other property owners. The secondary route would affect 41 households as well as other property owners. The effects of these are numerous, ranging from EMF emissions, stray voltage, noise pollution, and the possible health concerns related to living near the high voltage lines. Then there is the loss of property value associated with living close to the high voltage lines. In an article on Orchard blog, see the attachment that is written by Jacqueline DeMarco on December 14th, 2022. It states that a study from the Journal of Real Estate Research found that a lot located near high voltage power lines sells for 44.9% less than a lot that is not located near those lines. In addition, it states that a property located as far away as 1,000 feet tends to sell for 17.9% less. That affects a lot of people here, and that's an expense that is not being taken into consideration. There is also the emotional distress of losing the natural beauty of the properties by the clear cutting of trees to make room for these transmission lines. In addition, there are environmental concerns that I have that these lines run through the two beautiful watersheds, the Onion River and the Nichols Creek Wildlife Area, and its effects that it has on the plant and wildlife located there. I am also concerned about the potential erosion along Highway B with the proposed clear cutting of the right of way along the steep and hilly ditches along the highway. I don't know if I can put this in there. I mean, this is the beginning. This is the top of the iceberg. There are many other things that are going to be coming down the pipeline. When is it going to end? That we property owners have no say in what happens in our area. So I please reconsider this project and the severe impact it will have on many residents and the property values, their safety, and of the environment.
Thank you. Okay, now next is Cheryl Nenn, Nenn. Those wheels get you. I swear you in, do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? And name and comments.
My name is Cheryl Nenn, and I live at I work at 600 East Greenfield in Milwaukee, Wisconsin 53204. I'm here today representing Milwaukee Riverkeeper. We're a nonprofit organization. We were founded in 1995. And our mission is to protect the water quality and wildlife habitat in the Milwaukee River Basin. Basically, we're working to ensure that we have clean, fishable, swimmable, drinkable water in the Milwaukee River Basin. We're very concerned about the impacts of this proposed transmission corridor on the Milwaukee River, and in particular on Nichols Creek, which is a headwater portion of the North Branch Milwaukee River. There's also, both alternatives would have impacts on a larger area that we've been working on for several decades, which is the North Branch Milwaukee River Wildlife and Farming Heritage Area. And so the purpose of that area, it has a special management plan, is to protect the outstanding natural resources in the area, as well as the cultural and farming assets as well. And obviously there's also proposed impacts to the Nichols Creek State Wildlife Area that a few have spoken about. What a wonderful treasure that is for this community. So in particular, Nichols Creek is a very special creek. The Milwaukee River is 900 square miles, takes up portions of 7 counties and discharges to Lake Michigan and downtown Milwaukee under the Home Bridge. Nichols Creek is one of the very few streams that's designated as an outstanding resource water. Our organization, we have community volunteers that monitor water quality, and we test 110 different locations. And out of all of those locations, the Nichols Creek site that we monitor at the State Wildlife Area has the best water quality pretty much continuously since we've been doing monitoring since around 2006. So it's a very special stream to us. I think as most people in the room know, probably it's considered a cool, cold headwater stream that's capable of supporting trout, both brown and brook trout, and naturally reproducing trout, which is also quite rare for the Milwaukee Basin. And we're working with a lot of different partners to improve Nichols Creek even more. We've started seeing some concerning trends for water quality, I think largely because of a warming climate. And as trout streams warm, they hold less oxygen, and that can have a lot of impacts to the trout. So we're looking at doing some assessments to see where we can do more tree planting, where we can do restoration. And then we're working with 2 communities downstream to remove dams as well, which we think will really improve water quality, like the temperatures and the oxygen and the creek, so we can sustain those trout. So, you know, this project is very concerning to us. It would permanently remove, as others have mentioned, about an 80-foot swath of trees throughout the corridor. That could further exacerbate impacts to things like water temperature and oxygen levels in the creek. And so that's something that we're concerned about. The preferred option, which is that southern route, would remove around 10 acres of trees, which is really pretty significant. If you think about all the trees that will be removed, less shade, warmer temperatures, that's a big concern for us. Similarly, the other alternative would have very, I think similar impacts on the Onion River. As I mentioned, there's a handful of these streams left in southeast Wisconsin. As I've talked to some of the community members, I was, became aware that there are several others of these other corridors that exist, which many folks have spoken to tonight. And so it is a little bit befuddling why those haven't been looked at or are not being looked at as part of any environmental assessment or impacts statement. We are concerned also about the impacts from the bridges. There's 2 different bridges that would be built to accommodate construction equipment getting over Nichols Creek and another tributary river as part of the construction of the pipeline. And so, potential impacts to the actual stream bed and stream banks of that creek, as well as potential dewatering impacts, impacts to springs and artesian wells, as other people have mentioned. So there are several threatened mussel species in the area. I can't say exactly in that part of the corridor, but we know that they exist upstream in the state wildlife area, or did at one point. There are birds and other species of concern, as well as likely several species of endangered bats that are protected nationally or federally, I should say, on the Endangered Species Act list. And the preferred alternative would impact about 3.4 acres of wetlands. I think the other alternative is closer to 13 or pretty close to 13 acres. So, removing wetlands is a concern always because it can increase flooding. It can also, they're kind of like the kidneys for the river system. They help filter a lot of runoff and protect our waters. So anytime we have wetland impacts, we're very concerned about that. It kind of makes a stream less resilient to us, to everything that we do on the land. So that's something that we're concerned about as well. And I just say, finally, I think as part of this project, we really need, they really seems like they haven't looked at all of the options on the table. We'd really encourage ATC and PSC to go back to the kind of the drawing board, so to speak, to really look at the existing utility corridors. I feel like what an environmental assessment should do, and I used to write them for a living back in a former life. I did some consulting for the Forest Service. But they're meant to look at all the different alternatives that are reasonable in an area, and then you have that apples to apples comparison of environmental impacts, of social impacts, cultural impacts. I feel like in this case, and reading through a lot of the docket, it seems like that has not been done here. The DNR staff openly said that they don't know whether or not there's more impacts in the existing utility corridors. No one really has looked at it. So it seems like at a bare minimum that as part of this project, they should be looking at ways to minimize environmental impact by looking at the existing utility corridors. And I think, this would also, I think, hopefully address a lot of the concerns from the community here about, massive impacts on their property and their community and their quality of life. So we'd really encourage that, as kind of currently proposed, that this project does not go forward, and that the PSC and ATC take some time, go back and look at other reasonable alternatives.
All right. So we got 2 more appearance slips at the moment. So like I said, 3 more maybe. Okay, keep them coming. All right, so we have Jackie Kramer next. Do a dance over there. Right. Raise your right hand. You swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right. Name and comment.
I am Jackie Kramer. My address is W7050 County Road B. We are asking why the ATC and Plymouth Utilities cannot put up double circuit poles. We're seeing them in Plymouth area on County Truck C, Fond du Lac area, Waupun, Hartford, Rubicon, where they run the 7200 lines with the 138 lines staying within the ditches, instead of having to encroach and come into our farmland and, taking more of our land, and then we have to work around with our bigger machinery and equipment. And we have also noticed, we own land that is at the edge of Nichols Creek. We are seeing bald eagles, and they are eating their prey. They take them into our hayfield, and we saw a mom with 4 babies, right at the edge eating. And I have pictures to prove that they're here. And we have never in my 35 years in this area have really ever seen them until within the last few years, you know, when they started doing the nesting boxes in Milwaukee and whatever. And we have rare hawks that come through. They fly through our barn. They come in and they go after the pigeons. It is freaky because they're so fast that you can't even really get a good look at them, you know, and we've had great horned owls, you know, that nest in the pine trees in our area, and they come into our barn. And that is another weird experience when they have their wingspan out and they're flying over your head, you know, chasing pigeons. And when we had within the last 5 years, the Kettle Moraine Forest has been heavily logged out by the state of Wisconsin, taking out invasive pine trees, which turned the whole forest into, how would you say, there's nothing there anymore. There's very few trees left. And a lot of the wildlife that was living in there had to leave and find other habitats, moving into Nichols Creek, Onion River area. And we had a tornado, like Ann had mentioned, in 2018 that came through the Northeast, ripped around our farm, and then went through and took out a lot of trees in the Kettle Moraine Forest area, leaving Nichols Creek and the Onion River alone, thank goodness. So we've had a lot of damage and impact. You know, a lot of trees have been gone for the environment. And also to mention that in 1976, we had the big ice storm in Wisconsin, took down the 345 H poles, which were pretty new at the time, on County Road V, and took them to the ground, and the utilities, you know, had to go back and put up the structures and whatever to get them back up and running. What is going to happen if we have all these poles right in our yard? Next door, we own the property where our son lives. This 138 line, if the proposed primary line goes in, it's going to be right up to our front porch to an all steel house where 2 little kids live. I do not want that in my yard. And I agree with progression. I understand that it's a necessary evil, but there's better ways to do things. And we have to utilize what we have first before we go ripping through and creating more havoc. And there's also laws to protect these bald eagles. So if we change their migration patterns, we rip up their nesting areas, there's laws to protect those birds. And I did print out a few in my testimony, just so that you can look at.
Perfect.
And that is all I have.
No, thank you. How are you doing? Hey, Jerry Friedman. Cole Vista. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead. Oh, name and comment.
With my glasses this time. I'm trying to do it without reading and I wasn't too successful.
So just wanted to check and go off the record. Did you file the testimony at the party session on Tuesday? No, okay, same name, but okay, great. Go ahead.
My name is Jerry Friedman. My wife Joanne and I own 2 adjacent properties, W6654 County Road V, W6656 County Road V. There's a house on each parcel. There's a total of 31.34 acres. My qualifications for my opinions are as follows. I'm a graduate of the University of Illinois.
I'm sorry.
I'm a graduate of the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. I was elected to the honorary of Phi Beta Kappa, which is for the top students in the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. I have a medical degree from the University of Illinois College of Medicine, which is in Chicago, where I was elected into the student honorary of Alpha Omega Alpha, which is the medical school equivalent of Phi Beta Kappa. I was a clinical professor of surgery at the Medical College of Wisconsin. I was head of the otolaryngology. I can't even pronounce that myself. Otolaryngology Department of Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. When I was a second-year medical student in medical school way back in 1958, we used a brand new textbook of pathology. The chapter on lung cancer stated that it was thought that cigarette smoking may be the cause of lung cancer. Because there were millions of people who had smoked for decades, it was relatively easy to eventually make that association of smoking and lung cancer. In contrast, there are not many people who have been living under or near the high voltage transmission wires for decades to have accumulated enough exposure to develop an obvious illness. If you only smoke for a few years, you could still develop a lung cancer, but less likely than those who continue to smoke. I proffer that if we continue to place these high voltage wires over and close to people, in time, we will see the illnesses appear. It is already apparent that cows are affected by stray voltage, so why would we not think that humans would also be affected? It's just a matter of time and exposure. I understand the need for more energy, but the electrical engineers and energy companies must consider the health of the people. Yes, it will be more expensive to run the wires a greater distance from people and animals, but you have to value health over profits. Yes, it is more expensive to bury or shield the wires, but you have to value health over profits. March 12th, 2024, a local group of landowners spoke during the public comment period of the City of Plymouth Common Council meeting. After the comment period, we were directed into a conference room by representatives of the city. The final decision on docket 4740-CE-106 for the substation in the town of Mitchell was handed out. This is the first time I saw the document. PSC reference number 493160. So we're also given another letter from the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin. This PSC letter was delivered to us by mail on February 28th, 2024, but many of the landowners present had not received it. The letter announced the application of ATC on docket 137-CE-205 for the transmission lines. During the following question and answer period, I asked, do you mean there's absolutely nothing we can do to change the location of the substation? The document was held up by a city official who said, do you see the bold print, final decision? This means the decision is final. We also were told to take up any complaints with PSC, since the PSC accepted the substation on a separate docket, that they are responsible. Subsequently, we were told that any complaints we have on the transmission lines should be directed to PSC. PSC is also responsible for the location of the transmission lines. I'm opposed to the location of transmission lines and the substation. Our properties will be clear cut along County Road V. The letter from the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection states that we will lose approximately 2.46 acres of our agricultural land with the permanent easements. The agricultural impact statement reads, the typical width of the transmission line right-of-way is 80 feet, but may be narrowed to 60 feet or increased to 110 feet. ATC's description is just as vague. Therefore, the exact distance from the road, the right-of-way, to the buildings and pond on our property is impossible to measure, along with determining how many trees will be removed. I can state the transmission lines will run through the front yard of our house located at W6656 County Road V. The distance certainly will cause problems with human health. The lines will run over a metal pole barn, which contains farm equipment and a diesel gas tank. In addition to the diesel gas tank, we have outside another tank containing off-road gas. Also buried next to the building is a 1,000-gallon propane tank. A spark from the transmission lines, which are running right over this pole barn, could cause a conflagration with the possible loss of life. The septic system is next to the building. The lines will run over our frog pond.
I'm not gonna record it. We can't record it, but we can hear it now. Okay, thanks.
The lines will run over an ephemeral stream. This stream can be a roaring river with extreme snow melt and rainfall. The lines will run over our electric fencing and drain tile. Our land also borders the Nickel Creek Wildlife Area to the north. Their concern is our remote and trout unlimited. We are members of the Glacial Lake Conservancy and have planted numerous native trees, shrubs, and wildflowers for pollinators. My wife has seen the rusty patch bumblebee on our property. This summer we saw a golden eagle. We haven't seen the white eagle yet, though. And our neighbors have reported seeing other rare species. All of the wildlife that visits our 2-acre spring-fed pond will be adversely affected. We have 3 bat houses and 3 honeybee hives. Our 13 grandchildren and their friends and families visit often. Our renters recently moved out, and we are without that income because of the pending project. With removal of the trees in the right of way, we will lose our privacy from the road. The riprap of field stones and limestone along the steep edge of County Road V will be exposed. The very steep incline will be impossible to maintain, especially with the loss of stabilizing trees. The road could collapse with the installation of this project. No one from the PSC has ever visited our property to evaluate the damages that will occur, although PSC is responsible for the final decision on where the transmission lines will be placed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Can I take that copy from you? I can sort it. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So I have one more appearance slip. Cole Castell, please come to the witness stand. All right, young man, you settled in there. I'm gonna swear you in, so raise your right hand. Scott, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. All right, so now give us your comment. Speak slowly and clearly, please.
And what do you think about the wires? You're gonna plug up. You can hear you.
All right. Words of wisdom. Thank you. All right. Any more appearance slips? No more slips? All right, so we will be back at 6 p.m. to do this again. Take new comments from new people. Thanks very much, everyone. I did want to mention, we can go off the record. I do have 18 comments filed online. So the written comments, we have 18 that were filed between the notice of hearing being issued and today. So those are the comments that will go into the record. And we have until Monday to file more comments online if you don't feel like either speaking here today or writing a comment out here and giving it to us. So still some time to file a written comment. All right, thanks very much. Oh, wait. So, okay, so there's 2 ways to file. One's by US mail. So we need to actually get it to our office by Monday if you mail it. The online system, I think it turns off at like 11:59 and 59 seconds and 59,999. So right before midnight, you want to be able to file it online. So that's Monday in our, yes.
Michael, to clarify, if someone made a comment in writing before June
21st.
21st,
Yes.
they can still bring their comments to 6 o'clock.
Yes.
They can stand up and fill out the comment form.
Yes.
And have it be part of the public record.
Yes.
So any of the comments that you made for the March 13th deadline, please speak up, bring them, write them out, come back at 6 o'clock.
Well said. Yes, that's right. Okay.
One
Go ahead. Yeah.
All of the comments that were made, will they automatically go on to your system or do you need to manually?
Okay. That's a good question. So all the comments you made today, we're transcribing. They're going to go in a volume of the transcript, and that's going to be put on Earth. So everything you said today will be on Earth. It takes a few days for us to process that and upload. So it's not an instant, it's not going to be there instantly, but in a few days, you'll see it there. It'll be one of the transcripts. So we had a transcript from Tuesday, and we'll have a transcript from today. and that'll be all the comments we took here live. We're also gonna scan anyone who wrote a comment out and handed it back. We'll scan those into IRF. They'll appear on the website too. But even more important is that I'll put all of these comments together and give those to the commissioners. So just because it's on IRF doesn't mean the commissioners read it. I have to accept them and give them to the commissioners. So I will do that once we gather them all, and we'll wait for all the deadlines to finish. We'll gather them all, and then I will be compiling the comments to give to the commissioners. Yeah. Well, they're instructed to read everything we give them, yes. So can't answer what they actually do, but
Comment this afternoon, can you comment tonight differently?
I would rather if you don't say it again, another chance to comment. If what I would say is, we'll see what the room is like. I mean, I'll give people a chance who haven't spoken yet. And it's really not acceptable to comment twice. But if you have something new to add, we'll see how long we're going and how much time we have at the end of the day. Okay. Yeah.
Since there's a little time here before I'm gonna invite all the commission staff to come along with me, and maybe we can take a little tour of these routes that are proposed by the.
Yeah, we do drive the routes. Yeah, so we have a map and we do drive the routes and have done that. Yeah. So thanks for offering to invite us to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyone else? All right, thanks. We'll stand adjourned until 6.
You guys need to take under for some of the houses or?